everybody. Today we're going to talk about finding confidence intervals for the mean of a population. And I'll show you how to use the embedded calculator in the lesson to make finding the intervals really easy. The first problem says you find the price of gas at 38 randomly selected gas stations is $3.14. Assuming the population standard deviation for a price of gas is 8 cents, construct a 90% confidence interval for the true population mean price of a gallon of gas. The first thing we're going to do is go over to the lesson. In the lesson, you're going to go to the page that says Technology for Calculating Confidence Intervals. When you scroll down, you should see a table. If you don't see a table, refresh the page, then click on the link again. Once the table shows, you want to look at the tabs on the bottom of the sheet. The first one says Size of a Sample, the second one says Confidence Intervals. Click on the confidence intervals. Inside the sheet, you'll see there are multiple calculators. There's a confidence interval for a normal distribution where sigma is known. Beside it, there's a confidence interval for a t-distribution when sigma is unknown. And below it, there's an interval for a proportion. We'll look at each of them in our videos. Our example says that the mean price of gas was $3.14, so we'll enter that as the mean. It said the population standard deviation is 8 cents, so we put in 0.08. And notice we're using the normal distribution where sigma is known because the problem indicated we had the standard deviation for the population. Our n was 38, and we wanted a 90% confidence interval, so we enter 0.90. Those are all the values you need to put in. The calculated values will appear below. We want to know the lower bound and the upper bound for the price of gas. We can see it's 3.1187, we'll call that 3.12, to 3.1613, we'll call that 3.16. Now we can see our confidence interval is 312 to 316. The next problem says you weigh 87 chicken eggs and find they have a mean weight of 50 grams. A previous study claims the population standard deviation for the weights of chicken eggs is 5.8 grams. Based on this, construct a 95% confidence interval for the true population mean weight of a chicken egg. So we're going to go back to our calculator, and once again, we're using the normal distribution because our sigma is known. We were given that the mean was 50, the standard deviation was 5.8, we had 87 in our sample, and we want a 95% confidence interval. This gives us a lower bound of 48.7812 to 51.2188. That says our confidence interval is 48.78 to 51.22. Our next question says, a survey of 145 new veterinarians revealed that their average salary was $115,000 with a standard deviation of $10,000. We're going to construct a 99% confidence interval for the population mean of starting veterinarian salaries. This time, we don't have the word population with the standard deviation, which tells us that we can't use a normal distribution, we need to use a t-distribution. So in our calculators, we're going to scroll to the right and scroll up to use the confidence interval for the t-distribution, which says sigma is unknown. We put in our mean of 115,000. Our standard deviation of 10,000, we had 145 in our sample in a 99% confidence interval. This says our starting salaries are $112,832.18 to $117,167.82. If you come to the calculator and it doesn't show for you, even after you reset the page, you can download the Excel sheet located at the bottom of the page. The page contains the same calculator, so you can save it to your computer for later use.